This content was made in partnership with Join Spark.
What's this? Dad before getting married. I can't have sound. God damn it. Whoa. Oh yeah, good old Pro Street. Oh, he landed on his wheels. Oh, there goes Rio. Still more cinematic camera. Is he gonna make it? Oh, what? Is he alive? Did he not sustain any damage? Yeah, that's pretty crazy. Okay, well, he's still alive. 2004 Volvo S60. Did Volvo ever make... I like the dash. Are those just scratches, or is that a design? I remember seeing quite a few cars that looked like this when I was in the EU. When I lived over there. Did Volvo ever make, like, a wagon with the 5-cylinder? Speaking of neat power plants, so I made a post in r/diesel on Reddit. And I was like, hey, you know, I've heard that some diesels are very, very fuel efficient. And I was wondering, what would be a cool engine to do a swap with? I suggested the 4Runner, but there are other cars I thought of as well. Pair, like, a diesel with a really efficient transmission, like a ZF 8-speed. Can you really get 40 to 50 miles per gallon? And I had some answers. It was cool. So people suggested doomsdaydiesel.net for all the swaps, which I thought was cool. So I looked at that, and they had some cool stuff on there. A lot of people suggested the VW 1.9. Apparently those are very, very efficient, especially if you stick with the, like the TDI, you know, electronic fuel injected stuff. Apparently in some people's tests, they did 40 to 45 miles per gallon at 55 miles an hour, which is wild. One person made a good point. Weight and aero still matters to fuel economy, obviously. And so maybe it would be cool to do in something like an old E33 series or something. I don't know. But diesel swap as a project sometime. Try and build the most, like, efficient car possible. Would the diesel be the way to do that? I don't know. Diesel's not cheap over here. That's the only problem. Speaking of diesels, we've got a Peterbilt 589 here. And I was just looking at it. It's like, it's cool and old school. But the angle of the windshield on the 2025 just looks a little strange. Like, from the front, it looks cool. But then if you look at the side profile, I don't know. The angle of the windshield just doesn't look right. I just think I'm still team 389, 379, or 359, or whatever it is. This is a picture I took. So I was getting ready for work, and I realized some of these lights were sodium lamps. I was like, oh, that's cool. I prefer sodium, but I think it's mostly nostalgia, not preferring that over LED. And then I also saw an owl while I was standing outside, and I was like, well, I'm going to take a picture of the f***ing owl. So here's a f***ing owl. Yo, f***. Here's a fun discussion that's less kind of... I don't know, I feel like I've been a grifter for these last few episodes. I don't know. Is this the right kind of content I want to do? I'm not sure. But, hero cars in video games. What happened? Where are they? They used to be everywhere. They used to be super memorable. When the Need for Speed Most Wanted M3 GTR came out, you saw that car in every single game that had cars, and then some. Games without cars. People were modding the M3 GTR into those games. Everyone, even people who didn't recognize, or hadn't played, I should say, Need for Speed Most Wanted, still knew about the M3 GTR, because it got, how would you say, it saturated pop culture. And so we've got this picture here just as a placeholder of the Street Racing Syndicate M Spectre R34 GTR. Not as many people know of it, but many still do, despite having never played SRS. And so I had this cool discussion with Van, my buddy Van, who owns an M3 GTR rep. And we were talking about, you know, why are there no more hero cars? And he made some interesting points, and I thought, you know what? I need to talk about this. I need to make a post. Wait a minute. Where's my paragraph of points? I don't see it. I don't see it there. Well, so basically, look, in my opinion, you have to associate the car with a person. So, like, have another Rachel's 350Z. If it's your car, I don't know, you have to start with it, okay? And it has to be really good. It has to give you a taste of the end game and then be taken from you. You know, Need for Speed did that. SRS did that. The Underground games did that with, the Vortex Integra, I think is what it was called, and Rachel's 350Z. It gave you a taste of what to aspire for. But if you're not wanting to do a hero car, you make it a villain car, which might even be easier if I'm honest with you. So like Razor's Mustang, Darius's Audi R8, Rio's Evo, you know. But then that brings you to another important part of this whole thing, is that the car itself has to be memorable. So like the character it's associated with has to be memorable too, but then the car itself, it has to be personalized. It has to be unique. It can't be just like one of Dominic Toretto's 200 Hellcat Chargers. You know, that's not memorable. That's not special. No one's remembering that. It has to have, at the very least, a cool livery or a cool body design or something. Preferably both. My theory is that there are two ways to have hero or villain cars in modern video games, and it hasn't been done in a long time. If it's a hero car, it has to be associated with a character, and it has to be, if you end up driving it at the beginning of the game, which is the best time to drive it, it has to be really good. It has to use endgame performance and endgame looks to give you a taste of what happens when you complete the game, what you can get. On the flip side, if you're going for a villain car, again, make sure it's endgame, make sure it's unique, make sure it looks cool and it's fast, make sure it's memorable, and associate that with, ideally, hopefully, a good character. And then there you go. To oversimplify, and people just haven't been doing that. And, you know, people mainly are going, you know, make it a villain car, a compelling villain, and, you know, make it difficult to beat, which I agree with. I think it's a master stroke. And it's the easiest thing to do, is to make it a villain car. The only part I disagreed with is that this guy said clearly modified, but not completely ricey, because a lot of people thought this was pretty ricey. Like, and so they listed things like proper Japanese tuning company cars, like a Spoon S2000, GT1, something like that. And I was like, well, I mean, to each their own, but I'd want it to be a little bit more memorable, like an Auto Select R34, which is similar to this SRS car, or like the Signal Auto R34. Like, I like OTT stuff, and it works in video games. As long as it's vaguely functional looking, I think it's fine. Like that Polestar they did in Need for Speed Heat, it was interesting, but you look at that and you go, how much does that actually work in your favor? And you also just don't have the car for that long. So it's not that much of a hero car. So let me know what you guys think. Where are the hero cars? And am I right? Are those the way to do it? Or are there other ways too?
Das war ein Befehl! Der Angriff steigt!
Is your car trying to tell you something but you need a translator? Time to join Spark to figure out what's wrong by having a chat with your car. Check your emissions. You can check codes and even have the problem explained to you. Do an overall health check to see how your car is feeling and keep track of its maintenance schedule so there's no surprises. All good now. If your car is trying to tell you something, then join Spark to listen. To get $15 off and learn more, head on over to sparkai.link/Tom-Wood.